The Bundesliga returns to the Volksparkstadion today after 7 years away. Most importantly, it's also the Hamburg derby against St. Pauli. But what exactly happened in those 7 years? In 2018, Hamburg were relegated. They were known as the dinosaurs of the Bundesliga, and they even had a clock in their stadium saying how long they'd been in the league for, because at that point they were the only team to have played in every single season of the Bundesliga since its inception. And it was the belief that they could never be relegated. This couldn't happen to a team as big as Hamburg, but now they were, and all of that was no longer needed. After their relegation, it was expected that Hamburg would bounce straight back up, but their first season in the second division saw them go through two managers, Christian Tietz and Hannes Wolf. After a win against St. Pauli, Hamburg had a 7-point lead over fourth, with only 8 games of the season left. However, when you enter the spring, Hamburg began to collapse, and this has become a common theme for Hamburg over their 7-year spell, which you will see. On match day 30, after a poor run of games, their lead had only been cut to 3 points to fourth. With a crucial game against fourth placed Union Berlin on the horizon, they would lose and drop out of the promotion places. Hamburg would end their first season just 1 point outside of the promotion places, after spending most of the year in the promotion places. The next season would prove just as bad. Dieter Hecking came in, and heading into match day 32, Hamburg was second, again after spending most of the season in the promotion places. A draw with Osnabrück then saw them drop down to third. Then 2 losses in their final 2 games of the season, with the final one being a 5-1 loss to Sandhausen, meant they finished fourth. Again, and again 1 point from the promotion places. Dieter Hecking would then be let go in that summer and replaced by Daniel Thion as head coach. And then when it came to incomings, Hamburg even signed the second division cheat code, that is Simon Terodde. But the 2020-21 season proved to be a lot more tame for Hamburg. A relatively up and down season saw them finish fourth, 4 places from the relegation playoff spot. Obviously in a season that was hit by COVID and a lack of fans, Thion would be sacked in May of 2021 and replaced by Horst Hrubesch, who would see out the season. Tim Walter would then be named the next Hamburg manager. The following season, the 2021-22 season, would be Hamburg's best yet. They spent most of the season outside of the promotion places this time, even ending up as low as 6th on match day 30. Hamburg would end up mounting an impressive turnaround to end the season in 3rd and in the relegation playoff spot. They would face Hertha Berlin, managed by Hamburg legend Felix Magath. Magath was obviously part of Hamburg's side that won the European Cup in the early 80s, won the Bundesliga in the early 80s, and also managed to lead Wolfsburg to the Bundesliga title. Hamburg took a 1-0 lead to the Volksparkstadion before losing 2-0 at home to end their chances of promotion. Following the promotion of Schalke and Werder Bremen, Hamburg were now favourites to go up the following season. And what followed in the 2022-23 season was probably the most dramatic thing yet. From match day 6, Hamburg would spend the whole season in the top 3. Heading into the final day, Hamburg needed Heidenheim to fail to win against relegated Jan Regensburg to gain automatic promotion. If not, they would be guaranteed a relegation playoff spot. And what then happened is well known. Hamburg would do their part and beat Sandhausen 1-0. When their match ended, Heidenheim were still losing 2-1 to Regensburg, prompting Hamburg fans to flood the pitch, thinking they'd finally been promoted. However, they had realised that Heidenheim's game had yet to finish, which then prompted a nervous wait. But things got worse. Heidenheim's game had 11 minutes of added time to be played. During this time, Jan-Niklas Bester would equalise for Heidenheim with a penalty before Tim Kleindienst scored the winner in the 99th minute to not only win the league for Heidenheim but also earn them promotion. This meant Hamburg were once again condemned to the relegation playoff spot. Here, Hamburg would play Stuttgart and convincingly lose. Obviously, this is a Stuttgart side that had a horrible season under Pellegrino Matarazzo, Bruno Labbadia, before hiring Sebastian Hoeneß. Most of the Stuttgart side would go on to finish second the following year. In the 23-24 season, Hamburg would end up firing Tim Walter as their head coach, with the club in third, as they looked to finally capitalise and gain promotion and bring in someone who could get the job done. In his place, they hired Hamburg fan Stefan Baumgart. Baumgart had previously led Paderborn to the Bundesliga. However, Heidenheim would ultimately drop off and finish fourth once again because of poor results under Baumgart. To make matters worse, City rivals St. Pauli would return to the Bundesliga before them, as they would win the league in that season. During the summer, Hamburg would sack sporting director Jonas Bolt and replace him with Stefan Kuntz. Heading into the seventh season, Hamburg's promotion chances were not helped by the return of Cologne to the second division. And things didn't start out great for Hamburg either. They were sitting 8th after matchday 13, and following a 2-2 draw with Schalke, Baumgart would be sacked and replaced by Merlin Polzin, another Hamburg fan, and this time in his first major head coaching role. Polzin would then lead Hamburg up the table, where they spent the majority of the second half of the season in the top two. A 6-1 win against Ulm on the penultimate game of the season would secure their long-awaited return to the Bundesliga. A loss to Greuther Fürth on the final day meant they didn't go up as champions, but I mean, after 7 years away, do you really care? Now, back in the Bundesliga, they put in a good performance against Borussia Mönchengladbach on the return, and if that is how they're going to be playing from now on, they're in a good position to build on and fight to stay in the league and avoid heading immediately straight back down. Because obviously this is Hamburg, it's one of the biggest clubs in Germany and the biggest club in the north of Germany. And obviously with the Bundesliga you want as many of the big clubs as possible and less clubs like Hoffenheim and Wolfsburg. But this is the story of Hamburg and their odyssey in the Zweite Bundesliga. Yeah, let me know if you think Hamburg can stay up this season.
You lot subscribe to the channel. Obviously I'm saying this sort of free will. No one's forcing me. There's a lot of good content on there, so subscribe to the channel.